Previously on the Golden Key.
You know that janitor of yours? He's got a pretty tight alibi from the night of the theft. I don't think he's our guy.
That's a relief. I knew he couldn't be. Any other leads?
I've got a pretty good one, I think, yes.
Oh, you do?
I do indeed. Someone with ability and definitely motive.
Well, I can't think who that could be.
You know him well. Father Bill Miller. Please turn around. You're under arrest.
And now, part 2 of The Suspect in the Sanctuary.
You can't be serious. You think I stole money from my own parish?
I think you stole money that could have helped the underprivileged, and stole it so you could apply it to your building fund for your pretty church building.
But Father Bill, he's a priest. I know he wouldn't steal anything.
He might, if he felt the cause was just. What you don't know, Father, is that I talked to one of the volunteers who counts the money, and to your office manager for your parish. They both told me that a large portion of the money from last Sunday's collection had been given with a note clipped to it stating, it should go to the food pantry drive. And guess what? They also said you brought in a not-so-shabby donation earlier today and said it had been given anonymously for the building fund. And that, good Father, is good enough for me.
But this is ridiculous. You can't just...
I can and I am. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you.
But officer, wait.
Charlotte, what is it?
You said we could meet tomorrow and try to find my clues, remember? What can I do without Father Bill's help?
Well, yeah, look, kid. The priest here is going to make bail. He'll be out soon.
Charlotte, I'll be out by morning if I could reach my bishop by phone. Meantime, leave your phone number with Peter here, will you please? I'll call you as soon as I can.
Philip Goodman, you have gone way too far this time. Do you hear me? Arresting a priest? You can't seriously think he committed this crime. Can you? What is wrong with you?
Heather, why are you so upset? He had the motive. We have evidence.
We both know your so-called evidence is hardly even enough to be called circumstantial, and definitely won't hold up in court.
Well, we'll see.
Do you know what I think? I think your real motive is that you're so darn sure that it's so wrong to spend money on making pretty churches, as you call it, instead of helping people in need, that you're willing to bend the law to punish Father Bill, which is totally unacceptable.
You're crazy. Hey, where are you going?
To check on Father Bill and make sure he's okay. And to get away from you!
Well, now don't that beat all? They're arresting priests now. Makes me feel a whole lot better about myself. What are you in for, Father? Stealing money out of the collection plate?
Well, actually, this is all just a mix-up. Mr.
Me? Oh, my name don't matter. I don't matter. Not to them cops. Or nobody that knows me. And I'm sure not you.
Don't assume that.
Well, for what it's worth, my name's Willie. And you are Father somebody, I'm sure.
Father Bill Miller. Nice to meet you, Willie.
No, it's not. But thanks for saying so anyway. Now, for real, did you steal that money? 'Cause I wouldn't blame you if you did. People just hand out money to churches. Wish they'd hand some to me.
This is all a misunderstanding, Willie. A sad one.
Why ain't you gonna ask what I'm doing in here? I'm sure you're wondering.
Should I ask?
Well, see, I robbed this bank, you see. Like you see in the movies. I had it all planned out, and...
Now, Willie, let's don't compound your problems by lying to a priest. Maybe God put him in here to give you a chance to go to confession. Though I kind of doubt you're Catholic, are you?
No, I ain't nothing. Nice to see you, Martinez.
Well, I'm sorry to see you here, Willie. Father, I just came to see how you're doing.
Oh, thank you, Heather. That's very kind of you.
Your bishop has been in touch, Father. I don't think you'll have to be here much longer. This has all been a big mess. I'm really sorry.
It's not your fault, Heather. And, well, God uses everything for the good, you know? I'm sure that will be the case here, too.
Maybe so, Father. Willie here could use some good right now, I bet. Hey, you want some coffee?
That would be wonderful, Heather. I'm afraid I haven't slept much. I'm rather worn out.
Coming right up.
Oh, Heather, do you think Willie might like a cup? Would you, Willie?
Me? Oh, nah. Nah, I'm good. But thanks.
Suit yourself.
Is Heather Officer Martinez? Right, Willie? Could you use some good in your life?
Oh, I don't know. I just don't even know what that is. And I don't deserve it.
I'm sure that's not true.
Hey, you Catholics really believe in that confession stuff. Like, I tell you what I did wrong, and I'm forgiven.
Well, technically, I think you'd need to be Catholic, Willie. It's not magic. The efficacy, the effectiveness of the sacrament of confession is rooted in faith in Jesus Christ, and that the church he founded has the power to forgive sins. I'm not sure if you believe in those things, Willie. But I also know God is a loving and forgiving God who always moves towards his children when they seek his forgiveness. I know that he knows your heart, and his mercy is even more endless than the sea.
Those are nice words, Father. I don't know. You want to know what I'm really in for?
I only want to listen to what you want to tell me, Willie.
Yeah. Well, look, Father. You wouldn't understand. I'm addicted to drugs. I got a real problem. I know that, but I got a daughter, 4 years old. And I love her. I really do. More than anything else in this world.
That's a beautiful thing, Willie.
Well, maybe so. And she's a beautiful little girl. But last night, well, I was taking care of her, just me and her. And well, I really felt like I needed some drugs, like bad, real bad. I tried to resist, but I left her home alone and went out looking for some. She was asleep, I was gonna be back before she woke up.
But you weren't, were you, Willie?
No, I wasn't. The neighbors heard her crying for me, for her daddy. And I wasn't there. She must have been so scared.
I'm so sorry, Willie. Is she okay?
She's okay. Her mama came and got her. I play all funny and tough, but her mama is right to be mad. And I don't blame my little girl if she never forgives me. I don't deserve it.
Willie, one thing I know is that you have to have had some very difficult circumstances in your life to reach this point. I'm sure you never set out to come to this. And God knows that too. He knows your heart of hearts.
I'm not an evil person, Father. I make a lot of mistakes, big ones. And I take responsibility for those. But I want to be good. I really do.
Father, here's your coffee. And here's somebody with something to say to you.
Okay. Look, Father. We're letting you go, okay? We don't really have enough evidence to hold you. Look, I got a little worked up, when I heard about that donation to the building fund and all. I really figured that money had come from the money collected for the food bank, which, by the way, is where I think that money should be.
The money for the church building fund didn't come from the food bank funds, Officer Goodman.
I know that now. Word is it was your own personal money, Father. which is nice, I guess. Though that food bank needs...
Phil, why don't you just let it go? And let Father Bill go, okay? Before you make things worse.
Right, okay, sure. Look, Father, I hope there's no hard feelings here.
I'm not going to sue you or the department or anything of that sort, if that's what you mean, Officer Goodman. It was an honest mistake. At least I think so.
We appreciate that, Father. And, well, are you ready to go?
This might sound odd, Heather, but not quite. Can you give us a few minutes? Me and Willie here.
It's okay, Father. You have more important things to do than talk to me. Go on.
Maybe I don't. Willie, would you mind if I prayed with you?
I mean, that'd be okay, Father. I'd like to do that.
Father Bill, I'm so glad you're out of jail. It feels weird to say that.
Thank you, Charlotte. It was all a misunderstanding, right, Officer Goodman?
Sure thing, Father. Hi, Charlotte. How are you?
I'm fine, officer. Are those kids going to join us, Father?
We're here! Peter's coming, right behind me.
Claire, Peter, glad you can make it.
Hi, Father Bill.
How are you, Father? I still can't believe
Sorry
that.
to butt in, Claire, but before anyone brings it up, our little arrest situation from last night is all straightened out now, okay? So there's no need to talk about it any further, all right?
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, Charlotte, I did look over those clues of your grandfather's, and they're quite interesting. Peter, did you get a chance to look at the copy I emailed you?
Yeah, I did. Some of it made sense, I think.
I thought so too. So, I have grandfather's clues here, and he starts by quoting the Second Vatican Council, the gathering of all the Catholic bishops and the Pope in the 1960s to clarify a number of things. Vatican II said that the liturgy, the Catholic Mass, and all the art that surrounds it, including the Church's architecture, should be signs and symbols of heavenly realities, and should be a foretaste of the heavenly liturgy.
That's a mouthful. I mean, what does it mean?
Peter, what do you think it means?
Well, I mean, at every Catholic Mass, we believe that the Eucharist, Holy Communion, is really and truly Jesus himself made present. So the Mass is really important. It's really a sort of a pointer to heaven. And by foretaste, I think it means that we get to experience just a little bit of the heavenly liturgy. In other words, the worship of God in heaven, but right here on earth, in every Mass.
That's right. We believe the church building is where heaven meets earth literally, physically. It's a unique thing. Nothing else like it on earth. So the church building really has to reflect that. And it's important that we get that right.
And that ties in with Charlotte's grandpa's first clue. He asks, what's the most important thing that happens in a Catholic church? What makes it different from any other building in the world? What happens there that makes it a place where heaven meets earth? Look for the space where that happens and there will be bones.
Yeah, that's the thing. Bones? That makes no sense.
Seems crazy to me.
Well, let's go inside and look around.
Well, we're inside, Father. You guys have some sort of crypt here or something?
No, we don't. But think about exactly where heaven meets earth inside this building. Where would that be?
Oh, I know. He must mean the altar. That's where the priest turns the bread and wine into the body and blood of Jesus at every Mass. Now I get it.
Okay, Claire, so there's the altar, but what does it have to do with bones?
Yes, the altar, along with another place nearby, is the most holy space in the church building.
That's why it's elevated higher than most of the spaces in the church. We talked about that in CCD class.
Correct, Claire. And what about bones?
I know that one. I guess a lot of people don't know this, but every Catholic altar is supposed to have a tiny relic located in it, usually hidden from view.
A relic? Isn't that just something old?
No, Charlotte, I remember that one. My parents took me to church when I was a kid for a while, before they quit going. I was baptized Catholic, even served for a real short time as an altar boy.
Officer Goodman, you never told me that before.
Well, it's not something that really ever mattered to me. but I do remember what a relic is. It's like a holy object, right? Something connected to Jesus or a saint.
Or even a piece of a saint.
Wait, like an actual piece? Are you serious?
We are, Charlotte. That goes back to the Bible. Objects like Jesus' garment or even something like St. Peter's shadow can be so holy as to heal people. In the early church, they saved the bones of the martyrs and honored them. And some people attributed miracles to them. I know, it sounds strange.
Yeah, that it does.
But Peter is right. Every Catholic altar is supposed to have a very small relic of a saint, usually a tiny bit of his or her bone fragment, somewhere in the altar. And here's ours.
Whoa, it's like a secret compartment.
It is, and it's sealed, so I won't open it.
But what about the clues, Father Bill?
Well, I don't need to open it. I happen to know that the altar here contains a fragment of the bones of Saint Tarcisius, an early martyr of Rome. Peter, what's the next clue?
It says to now find the connection to the bones in the glass. What does the glass seek to teach us? And to what place in the church does it point us?
Find the bones connection in the glass?
There's a picture of St. Tarcisius in the stained glass over there. I always look at that during Mass.
She's right. It says St. Tarcisius right there, under the image in the stained glass. But what's he doing? He's like all curled up, with light coming from, like, his stomach, and that shape.
Anyone know what that is that he's holding?
The Eucharist? Holy Communion? That's what the picture's showing us.
But why is he all curled up, laying down? Like, is it burning him or something?
No. He's trying to protect it from people who would abuse it. He was only a boy and had volunteered to take Holy Communion to the sick during the days of Roman persecution of Christians. A gang of ruffians, mean young men, who hated Christians, they attacked him and demanded to know what he was carrying, and he wouldn't show them. He wanted to protect the Eucharist as Jesus' body and blood from them desecrating it.
Even if he got beat up for it?
Worse, he was beaten to death for it.
Seems kind of pointless. Wouldn't they have just desecrated it after that anyway, so he died for nothing?
He died for the love of Jesus, but also the communion host. It miraculously disappeared after he died, and they tried to take it from him. It's quite a story.
I'll say.
But didn't the clue say to look where the glass is pointing us to? It's not really pointing at anything, is it?
The question is, what is it trying to teach us? The story of St. Tarcisius. What's the point of his sacrifice?
I suppose it would be that Jesus is really there, in communion, and we should honor him there.
Officer Goodman, you got it. Good answer.
So where is the place that the lesson would point to then?
The tabernacle, right? Where Jesus' body and blood are kept. That's the actual place in the church building that lesson would connect us to, wouldn't it be?
Indeed so, Peter. So, let's take a look.
So this is the tabernacle you said? Why is it called that?
Technically, Charlotte, the word means tent. That's because when God's people, the Hebrews, were wandering in the desert, God's presence was housed in a very special tent. But eventually, the Hebrew people were instructed to build an ark to contain the Holy of Holies where God dwelt.
An ark? Like Noah's Ark?
No, Charlotte. Haven't you seen Raiders of the Lost Ark? Kids these days.
Is that a movie or something?
Are you really? Maybe I do want to arrest this girl. Is it a movie? Sheesh.
The Ark of the Covenant was a very special sort of box that contained several sacred objects, but mostly because God dwelt there literally. The average person wasn't even supposed to touch it. It eventually ended up in the Hebrew temple, but our tabernacle is different. It's still very holy, but it's where Jesus is present in a unique way, in the host that looks like bread once it's being consecrated by a priest.
So what's the clue in the tabernacle? It doesn't look any different than any other time.
I have a feeling it's not in the tabernacle, but Maybe, let me see. Aha, yes, behind it. Look.
There's a piece of paper taped to the back of the tabernacle.
Yup, it looks like another one of Grandpa's clues, all right.
What does it say?
Okay, so the next clue asks what shape the church is in. Like, what is the physical shape of it?
Kind of a big box, don't you think?
He means from above. What would it look like if you were a bird flying over the building?
Oh, I know this one. It's in the shape of a cross.
Wait, it is? I mean, well, maybe it is.
It is. The nave, the main room with pews. It makes up the long part of the church. The arms of the cross that intersect it are formed by the side entrance on one side and the sacristy on the other. A lot of churches have that shape over the centuries, intentionally.
And the clue wants us to think about what's at the head of the cross shape. Like, where would Jesus' head be if he were hanging on the cross that is this building?
I mean, it would be the altar, the sanctuary and all, wouldn't it?
Yes, Charlotte. Then the clue says to find the most visible manifestation of that shape in the church and seek the next clue on its top. Any guesses?
Most visible manifestation of that shape. I mean, a cross shape. Even if I know that the crucifix is always near or above the altar, at least in a Catholic church.
Impressive, Officer Goodman.
Hey, former altar boy here, remember?
So clue is somewhere on or around the big crucifix that hangs above the altar. Is that right?
I think so, Claire. Officer Goodman, would you be so kind as to help me fetch the stepladder from the back room of the sacristy?
Sure, I think I can handle that.
Okay. Peter, will you please hold the ladder for me?
Sure.
Okay. Not there. What about... Oh. Yep, here it is. Got it.
What does it say?
Well, it asks what the main part of the church building is called, where people sit, and why it's called that. Then it says to look to the part of the church that most obviously illustrates that. That's a tough one.
Well, what's the main part of the church building called? The pews are there, but it's not called the sanctuary. Peter, didn't you say it earlier?
I did. And the sanctuary is where the altar is, elevated higher than the rest of the floor, because what happens there is so holy.
Oh, I remember. It's called the nave. That's what the clue means.
Wow, smart kids. I didn't know that. Or if I did, I forgot.
So why is it called a nave? Does anyone know?
Well, I'm sure it's not got anything to do with the Navy, which is what comes to mind.
Are you sure it doesn't, Charlotte?
But that wouldn't make sense. What does the Navy have to do with the Catholic Church?
Because the church is like a different sort of ark. Like Noah's Ark that you mentioned, Charlotte. Think about it. What did Noah's Ark do?
Well, it saved Noah's family from the flood.
Right, Peter. And in a way gave new life to the whole world, with the animals on it and all of that. So the church aims to save people. St. Peter even said in the Bible that baptism is like Noah's Ark saving people. And the church does that by carrying people safely over the dangerous waters of sin and evil. And it gives new life in baptism and relationship with Jesus.
Yeah, okay. But where do you see that reflected in the church building? I sure don't.
In the most obvious but easy to miss place there is, Officer Goodman. All around you. From above.
Wait, you mean... Oh, you mean the ceiling.
I see it. A lot of traditional churches were built so the slanted ceiling looks like, well, sort of like an upside-down ship. The ceiling part is what would be in the water.
Oh, I see it now. Never noticed that before.
So what are we supposed to do with this information?
Well, the clue says the next clue will be visible from where the ship would meet the water.
I guess he means from the ceiling?
I agree, Claire. But wait, let's head up to the choir loft. I wonder if we can see anything from there.
Well, here we are. Never did get the point of a choir loft anyway. Just keeps the singers, distant from the people.
That's part of the idea, Officer Goodman. The choir's singing is supposed to help people focus on what's happening in the liturgy, in the Mass, with Jesus. It's not supposed to be a show where people focus on the singers. Putting the choir at the back of the church and up higher, besides having acoustical reasons in older churches, also meant to keep people focused on the right things.
Wow, that makes sense too. I guess a lot of this stuff was really thought out pretty deeply.
Very deeply, Charlotte. Oh, Claire, hey, be careful climbing up on the railing there.
I know, but I see it. I see the note. It's taped on top of the light fixture over there. I can almost reach it.
Claire, don't reach over the railing like that. Get down before you...
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna fall. Help! Help!
Hang on tight to that hanging light fixture, Claire. We'll help you.
That fixture's starting to pull out of the ceiling. We gotta get her. Claire, swing your legs this way. Hurry!
Okay, I'm trying, but I'm really up high. Oh my gosh.
Officer Goodman, quick, hold my feet.
Charlotte, are you crazy? I'm not risking your neck, too.
Just do it. We can't let her fall. Grab my ankles. I can do this.
Oh, Lord, help me. Okay. I got you. What are you?
Just hold on. Got you, Claire.
Oh, who's got you? The light's falling now. Please don't let go.
Don't worry, I won't. You're okay.
Claire, what were you thinking? You totally could have been killed.
Kid, you'd better never pull a stunt like that again. You could have gotten more than just you killed.
Sorry, I really didn't mean to lean that far, but I got this.
What did you... Oh, the clue. Claire, how did you manage to... Well, it wasn't worth the risk. Let's take a look, though, I guess. At least once my heart starts beating again.
You bet we're gonna look. I didn't go to all that trouble not to see what's in the next clue.
Okay. Let's see. Well, in a way, this is the easiest one. If I'm reading it correctly. And it's the last one. It says to look in the part of the building that tells the world, or at least this community, that here are Christians.
Here are Christians? What's that supposed to mean? Like a giant light-up cross in the sky?
Well, again, if I'm on the right track reading this, almost. Or the next best thing.
Like something that's large and visible, and well, indicates that this is a Christian place.
I think I get this one. It's the steeple, right?
Oh, the steeple. Okay, that would make sense, I guess.
I think part of what your grandfather is trying to do with all this, Charlotte, is to make the point that these attributes of the church building matter. Remember his earlier point that the church makes heavenly realities present in an earthly space with its buildings, so it needs to reflect those realities clearly. I think part of his feeling is that many people have gotten confused because some really bad ideas about reality have started to shape the way some Catholics make churches. And that should matter to us.
Okay, I do see all that, but what about the steeple?
Well, one function of a steeple in the past was always to point people, if they were visiting from elsewhere or members of the city or village where a church existed, towards that building, to know that this is a place where you will, or at least should, find Christian people. The steeple can be seen for miles around, and it means something, besides, of course, pointing towards heaven symbolically. The door behind Claire there leads to the stairs and then the ladder that you have to take to the top of the steeple. It's a little scary up there, you know. You don't all have to go.
Are you kidding? I'm scared of heights, but I'm not gonna not go.
Well then, let's... Oh, wait. Hold on a second.
It's just someone coming into the church down there to pray. Let's get going.
No, wait. I know him.
I do too, now that you mention it. That's Willie Armstrong, the hood you shared a cell with. Not to dredge up bad memories, Father.
I remember him.
Yeah, he's a smart-mouthed punk. Probably came because he figured he could be the next thief in this church.
Wait, Officer Goodman, just hold on. Look at him. Listen.
This place. I've never been in a place so beautiful. This place is heaven. I'm sitting inside of heaven.
Willie, is that you?
Oh, Father Bill, you really are the priest here. But, well, I never knew a place could be like this. Like I'm not in this world anymore. I'm not really much of a church guy, Father, you know?
I did deduce that, Willie.
Yeah, I never hardly been in one. I mean, I saw pictures and stuff, but being here, I think I could just sit right here all day and just be, you know? Why didn't anybody tell me there was a place like this in the world?
There are many, Willie. And I promise you the beauty isn't just in the architecture, the way it looks. We believe God is here in a special way, and the people of God are here to share His love with you.
No, Father, not with me. You wouldn't say that if you truly knew me.
But God does truly know you, Willie, and He loves you infinitely.
Well, I don't know why I'm here today, Father, but I'm glad I came. Hey, listen, I heard voices up there. I can tell you got people here. Why don't you go take care of them? I just want to sit here a while anyway. I mean, if that's okay.
It's more than okay, Willie. The door is always open. You're welcome to come here anytime you want. If you want to talk with me about anything, I'm here too. Or you can just come here and, as you put it, be.
Thanks, Father. I appreciate that.
God bless you, Willie, and I mean that. Sorry for the delay, folks. I'm glad I took the time to... Officer Goodman, are you okay? You look troubled.
Me? Oh, yeah, sure, Father. I just... Well, I couldn't help overhearing your conversation with Willie down there. We all could hear it. And well, I'm just thinking about things, that's all.
Hey, if you guys don't mind, I really want to go into that steeple, okay?
Oh, right. Of course, Charlotte. Sure. Let's go.
Man, it's a long way up there. Kinda dark, too.
I didn't expect it to be so windy.
Everyone, just be careful climbing up. The wind won't really affect your safety or anything, it just makes a lot of noise. We're a fair ways up in the air, you know.
Whew. This is a little bit of a climb.
Try being an out-of-shape, middle-aged cop. We almost there, Father?
Yes. In fact, here we are. This little room has quite a view, wouldn't you say? You're standing at the very top of the steeple.
I'll say. Long way down. How the heck did your grandpa get all these clues and things to these crazy places anyway, Charlotte?
My grandpa didn't let anything stand in his way, including safety. Okay, it's a little scary up here. Like I said, I don't like heights. Can we look for the clue or whatever it is?
But if this is the last clue, then what are we looking for? Not another note or piece of paper, are we?
Maybe it's a mirror and a note that says, "The real treasure is you."
Now that would have some humor.
I mean, I'd appreciate the thought from Grandpa, but, well, that seems a little boring after all the clues we followed to get here.
I was only kidding anyway, Father. Oh, hey, Father. I've never been up here before, so maybe it's always been here. But look over there in the corner where it's dark. You see that fancy wood box with the cross on it?
I see it! Could that be it?
Only one way to find out. Here, I'll get it. Well, it's not too big. Charlotte, it has your name on it. And it says Red Key. Red Key? Does that ring a bell to you?
Red key. Oh my gosh! Yes, he did give me a red key a long time ago. Said it was the key to a treasure box and I should keep it always. Like, did he plan this out years in advance or something?
I don't suppose you'd have that key on you, would you? I mean, the odds are slim, I realize, but it sure will be a bummer if you don't.
I do. I actually do. I keep it on my keychain with my car keys and everything. I have ever since I had my own keys. Here it is. I can't believe I'm opening this up. I'm shaking a little bit. I mean, I honestly don't know what it is. It's a photo album with handwritten notes under the photos of a family. My grandparents. My parents.
God bless him.
And there's a cover letter, I guess. Dear Charlotte, first of all, I can't read this. I'm sorry. Could someone?
Oh, Charlotte. Let me see it, please. Dear Charlotte, first of all, I want you to know that I love you so very much. And I will always love you, just as your parents loved you more than anything in this world. I'm sorry, dear Charlotte, if I've caused you difficulties in getting to this box with all my clues. And I certainly hope it's you, Charlotte, that are finally seeing all this. I hope you can appreciate and treasure this photo album. My own mother made it for me, and when she died, I began adding to it, as did your mother and father. It's full of snapshots and memories of their lives, of my life, and of your life. And perhaps one day you'll add to it with your own son or daughter. I know, dear Charlotte, that you've been rather angry at God for letting your parents die. That's very understandable. But I have to trust He had His reasons, and I hope some good can come out of all of this for you. And maybe you feel alone now, Charlotte, without them and without me. But you're not alone, my dear. You never were, and you never will be. God, Jesus, will always be present in your life, and He will never leave you alone. And you have the communion of all the saints and angels in heaven. And here on earth you have a little foretaste of heaven in the church. My clues focused a lot on the meaning of this wonderful old building, which has seen me through so many rough times and good times alike. But the meaning of the building depends on the meaning of God in your life, Charlotte. And I hope you won't waste the amazing opportunity you have to know Him, but also to know His people here in the parish. Here you have a home, Charlotte, a community, people who will support and love you. I hope you'll give it a try. I'm not demanding it. I won't haunt you from the grave if you don't, but I hope you will. Lastly, I don't know what your hopes were in seeking out these clues, Charlotte, and I hope between the messages in the clues and this treasure of a photo album, your heart is pretty full. But as you may or may not know, my dear granddaughter, your parents and I have been saving money for you, including their insurance money. If you look underneath this book, as maybe you already have, you'll find stocks and bonds and certificates worth enough to do several things. First, to make sure you can attend the college of your choice without paying a dime. Though I encourage you to work for what you get, my dear. It's good to do that. I also am leaving you the deed to my house here in town. It's yours now, all paid for. May you fill it with all the joy and laughter and love that your parents filled your home with, and my darling Esther and I tried to fill our house with, and my parents before me. But also, there's money here to pay for something I knew was coming. The restoration of this beautiful church to its full glory. Father Bill will appreciate that, I hope, and he can quit nickel and diming all the parishioners now. I don't believe it. I never would have guessed.
That's crazy.
There's more. He says there's an endowment set up to sustain the food bank and jobs program here in town. And it's all taken care of with his estate attorney. You just need to go see him, Charlotte.
Mr. Osborne, I know him well. He was always a good friend of our family's. I don't know what to say. It's so much to process. Oh, Grandpa, I wish I could hug you. I miss you so much.
How beautiful, though, Charlotte. How much he loved you. This far surpasses anything I expected. Wouldn't you agree, Officer Goodman? Officer? Are you okay?
Yeah, I mean, yes. Yes, sort of. Look, I do know who stole that money from the church treasury the other day.
You do? Wait, you're not going to arrest me again, are you?
What? No, I'm not. I'm the one who should be behind bars. Look, like I said earlier, I was a Catholic when I was a kid. Not that I paid that much attention. You know how it is. I didn't really learn my stuff like I should have. But, well, what I've seen here today, all of it, I'm not too proud to say I've learned a lot in it. Well, that I get it now. All the stuff you've been trying to say about beauty and how people need that in addition to food and enough money and all. I saw that in Willie downstairs, you know. And I see it in myself. And Father, it's been a long time since I went to confession. But if you'll hear my confession in a little bit when we get back downstairs, if I can still do that after all these years away from the church, well, I've got a lot to confess. But first, I'm gonna make this confession to all of you. And I hope you'll forgive me. But I'm the one who stole that money from the treasury.
You?
What?
Really?
You?
Wow.
But why, Officer Goodman? Why would you do that?
Well, you see,
Because he's a good man, Charlotte.
What?
Because he cared. About the poor, about the hungry. His heart was moved. And he thought it was all hypocrisy that any church would build a fancy building instead of feeding the hungry. It's a common way of seeing things. And it's understandable.
That is what I thought, Father Bill. You're right. I hope you can forgive me. I arrested you partly to throw people off my own trail, because I thought maybe Officer Martinez, Heather, was starting to get suspicious. But also because, well, I was mad about what I was so sure I was right about. And you became my target, Father. Look, I won't blame you if you call the police now and turn me in. I deserve to lose my badge.
Officer Goodman, it seems to me that you really do want to live out the police motto of protecting and serving, especially those who don't have enough. I think you deserve that badge more than a lot of people. I certainly won't press charges. I mean, I'd like to know the money went to something good.
Don't worry, Father. I didn't go out to eat with it or anything. It went where you probably suspect. The food pantry.
I'm glad to hear that. As far as I'm concerned, it's all over and done. And look, we all need to get downstairs. I've got to get to work.
You do?
I do indeed. I have a confession to hear. And absolution to give. The forgiveness and mercy of God.